All right, so here is a little bit of the theory recap video. So we have 7 notes in the musical alphabet, which is A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. And those are the natural notes. All the other notes in between, so this chromatic scale, there's 12 tones, which is 12 notes. So with a chromatic scale, you always start on the note C and you go all the way up until you get back to a C. So what we got here is we got the C and then the C sharp D flat, which means is the inharmonic equivalent, which means the same note, but whatever note you put there, it all depends on the key signature. So we got that. So the major scale formula is whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. So for example, with the C major scale, there is no sharps and flats, because if we take the formula here, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, C to D would be a whole step, D to E would be a whole step, and if we remember E to F, there is no E sharp or anything like that, so that would be a half step. And then F to G would be your whole step, G to A would be your other whole step, A to B would be your other whole step, and then B to C as well, there's no B sharp. So if you look at it here, so we went from C, right? So there's your C, going up a whole step. So this, from here to here, from C to C sharp, that would be a half step. So then what we want to do is we want to go to D here. So that's your whole step. And we want to do, we want to skip the accidental D sharp here. And we want to go to E. So whole. So C to D, D to E, then E to F. That's your half step. And then you want to go from F all the way to G. That's your other whole step. Then we want to skip that G sharp there, and we want to go G to A. That's your other whole step. And then we want to go A to B, which is your other whole step. And then B to C, of course, is your half step. And then whatever note you want to do, like for example, whatever scale, if we're taking the G major scale and plugging in the formula whole, half, half, we would start from the note G instead. So if we start from the note G here, that would be your first degree. And then G would go to A, so that would be your first whole step. So that would be scale degree 2. Then A would go to B, so that is your other note there. So A to B, which would be 3. And then B to C would be your 4th there. The C would be the 4th. And then C to D would be from here to here. That would be the 5th. And then D to E would be your other whole step. Then E to F sharp, that would be your other whole step. And then F sharp to G would be that half step at the end. So for example here too, if I took, let's see here, if I took the, the fretboard, just the first 2 strings here, we could actually build a C major scale actually from 1 string, and I'm just picking the B string because it's easier. So as we know, when we're finding note location, we're taking the chromatic scale and we're moving it from that note to another note until you get back to that E. So like E would go to F is the first fret, F to F sharp, which would be the 2nd fret, and then G, and then so on and so forth all the way till you get back to that letter E again. Same thing for the A string, and then the D, G, and then B, and then the high E is the same. So it's just going around the circle of the chromatic scale. Now if you were to do a C major scale on 1 string on the B string here, so the first fret would be C, and then your third fret would be D. So because the second fret is your C sharp here, we're not using that. So C to D would be your first whole step, so fret 1 to 3. And then D to E, so that would be fret from 3 to 5. That would be your other whole step. And then your E to F here, as we all know, it's always a half step. And then, so we got that. And then we go F to G, so that would be your whole step there. And then G to A, that would be your other whole step. Then A to B would be your other whole step. So B would be at the 12th fret. And then the 13th fret would be your B to C, which would be your half step. So that is how you construct a major scale on the guitar. Now for triads. So what triads are is stacked thirds. So when we're talking about thirds, from this note, from 1 to the first degree to the third degree, that is what's called a major third. And I will get more into this in a little bit. So 1 to 3 is the major third, and then 3 to 5, E to G, is a minor third. So it's a major third on top of a minor third, which makes the C major chord. So it's a 3-note chord. So we got C, E, and G. This right here, that's 3, that scale degree 3, that is a very important note because that actually is the identifying quality for all chords. So that is a very important note. So like, for example, C, E, G, that's your C major. Now, if you were to make it minor, it's 1, flat 3, 5. So what that means is the flat 3, that means you would lower your E here to an E flat. And then it's G, so C, E flat, G, which will give you a darker tone. And then if you want to get into sus chords, what it does is it replaces the third degree here, and it replaces that with the second degree of this of the scale. So for that, for a sus2, you would use C, D, and G. sus4, you would use 1, 4, 5, so C, F, and G instead, leaving out the third. And let's see here. So for example, C add 9 would be 1, 2, so C, D, and then C, D, E, and then G. So 1, 2, 3, 5. So that's how you make a C add 9. And now I'm going to turn around and actually show this more on video. So like, for example, what I was going to say also with an example of a major scale, if we took the key of G, so went around the 12 keys, G to A would be your whole step, A to B would be other whole step, B to C would be your half step, C to D would be your whole step, D to E would be your whole step, E to F sharp would be your other whole step, and then F sharp to G would be your half step. And there we go there. And I will see you in the next video with some demonstrations. All right, so here is a recap demonstration of the scales. So for example, C major scale. In the booklet there, what we do, we're going to do it on the second string, so the B string. Okay, yep. So we're going to do it on the B string, so we got B. So the next note with that would be C. Second note would be C sharp, D flat. Then D, D sharp, E flat, E, then F, so that's always a half step, E and F. No accidental of E sharp or F, so on and so forth. Then F to F sharp, G flat, which is the 7th. And then we got, that's the 8th fret, we got G. Then we got G sharp, A flat. Then we got A at the 10th fret, A sharp, B flat, and then we're back to your regular note, B. So that is a chromatic scale from the note B. So if I was to do one here, just a regular C one, it would be C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, and then B, and then C. So going up, what I do is I actually make it sharp, so C, C sharp. Now if I was to go backwards, I'd go C, B, B flat, A flat, G, G flat, and then F, and then E, and then E flat, D, D flat, and then back to C. So if you're going up, make it sharp. If you're going backwards, make it flat. Okay, so now the major scale formula. The whole step, half step, whole step, whole step, whole step, half step. If we're starting on the note C, so the half step, for example, is fret 1 to 2. Whole step would be fret 1 to 3, for example. So you're skipping 2 frets. So if we were to plug that formula in, we would play, so the C here on the B string, and then now we're going to go up a whole step. So that would be D. Then from D to E, we're going to go up a whole step. So you got whole step, and then because there's no accidental in between E and F, there's your F. And then now we're going to go up from F to G, which is your whole step, and then G to A, that's your second whole step in there, and then A to B, that's your third whole step, and then B to C. And then, so what you want to do with that is that's how you create major scales from the chromatic scale. So what's nice with C is that there is no accidental, there's no sharps or flat. Now, for example, if I was to do a G scale, I'm going to do it on the low E here. So this would be your G. So now if I'm going up the formula, so G to A would be your whole step, A to B would be your other whole step, and then you got your half step here, B to C, that'd be your half step, and then C to D, that'd be your whole step, D to E, that'd be your whole step. So then we got another whole step coming up, E to here, that would be your F sharp. So that's an accidental note because you're skipping that F here because you need that whole step. And then that's E to F sharp, and then F sharp to G is your half step here. So we got G at the 3rd fret, A at the 5th fret, and then B at the 7th fret, and then C at the 8th fret, D at the 10th fret, E at the 12th fret, and then F sharp at the 14th fret, and then we got your G. And then you just kind of do that for each of the notes of the scale. And then what I would do is, for example, scale degrees, major chords. For example, if you take your C major chord, so here's your C here. So the chord formula for a major chord is the root, 3rd, and 5th. So we're taking the scale degrees. The root would be C, and then the 3rd would be E. So if you count C, D, E, so up the scale, that would be the 3rd, and then E, F, G, so G would be the 5th, and so on and so forth. So that 3rd right there is the most important note because that identifies the type of chord that it is, major, minor, and beyond. So, for example, if we were to play the C major chord, as we know, this note right here, that's your major third. And then here, you got your open G string, that'd be the fifth. So you got root, third, and then open G would be your fifth. And then back to your C here. And now if I was to make that minor, we would lower this note, the E, to an E flat. So it would be like this. So C, E flat, G, now major, C, E, G, and then like that. Now for sus chords, what's really cool, we're going to take the D major chord. So you got your pointer finger on the G string here, and then your second finger on the high E string, second fret, and then on the third fret, we want it on the B string. So right here, that would be your third here of that chord. So now if we want to make it a sus2, we would release your middle finger and that would be your sus2 because you're taking out that third there. And then in the start of the D major scale, E would be the second degree. Now what's really cool too here is if I take my pinky now and put it on the third fret, that's what we're going to call a D sus4, because G would be your fourth degree of the D major scale. And then D sus2, and then D major. Now if you wanted to make that minor, so this note, that's your major third, you want to go to that, the minor third. So you're going to kind of switch it up. So your middle finger is going to go on the third string here, second fret. You're still keeping that third finger there on the third fret. And then your first finger instead is going to go on the first string. So that's where you get. And then you can do this then you would go to your D major, and then D major, D minor, and so on and so forth. Intervals, for example, if we're taking the C scale, so C, D, E, F, G, A, B, and C, you would, if you're going from C to D, so for example, on the B string, so the first fret to the third fret, that's what we would call a major second. Now if I did this, if I went from fret 1 to 2, that's what we would call a minor second because we're going back a half step. So we got major second would be C to D, then minor second would be C to C sharp, or also D flat. Major second, minor second. Now if I was to go, so from first fret to fifth fret, that is what we call a major third, first degree to the third degree. Now if I went backwards, that's what we would call a minor third. So C to E is a major third. C to E flat would be your minor third. Now as we go up, got C to F, so that'd be the 4th degree. And that's what we call a perfect 4th. And then if we go from, that's what we call a tritone, or also known as a flat 5. So you're sharpening the 4th degree. And then from C, then C to G here, is your perfect 5th. So that's where you get your power chord. Is removing the 3rd and just using the 1st degree and the 5th degree. And I'm adding the octave to make it sound more full. So if we went from 1st fret to 8th fret, that's your perfect 5th. Perfect 4th, perfect 4th, perfect 5th. Now, what we're gonna do is from the C to the G sharp, or also known as A flat, we're gonna call that a minor 6th. Because with the minor 6th, you got the 6th degree of the scale is technically A. So if I went from 1st fret to 10th fret, that would be your A. So that would be a major 6th. And then minor 6th. So major 6th would be 1st fret to the 10th fret, minor 6th, 1st fret to the 9th fret. And then if we go, for example, from 1st fret to the 11th fret, that would be a minor 7, because that would be a B flat here. And in the C major scale, the B is supposed to be natural. So now if I went from 1st fret to 12th fret, that's what we would call a major 7. Because there's no accidental in there. So we got minor 7, major 7. So to run that through again, so we're gonna do, so from a major 2nd, we got 1st fret to 3rd fret. That's a major 2nd. Minor 2nd would be this. And then here we go, we got major 3rd, then minor 3rd, and then that's your perfect 4th. And then here's what you call a tritone, or the flat 5. And then from here, that would be your perfect 5th, 4th, tritone, perfect 5th, minor 6th, major 6th, minor 6th, major 6th, minor 7, major 7, minor 7, major 6, then minor 6, and then perfect 5th, then tritone, and then perfect 4th, then major 3rd, minor 3rd, then major 2nd, and then minor 2nd. Give that a shot.